The scariest part of a dark empath is not that they lack empathy. It is that they know exactly how yours works. The point is not to diagnose someone from one strange conversation. The point is to notice the moment empathy stops feeling like care and starts feeling like control. The useful difference is not the label. It is whether someone's emotional understanding gives you clarity or makes you easier to control matters, because people can understand emotion for very different reasons. A narcissistic person often makes the room orbit around their image. They want attention, admiration, agreement, or a reaction that proves they still matter. A dark empath pattern can feel quieter at first because the person studies the emotional room before they move inside it. That is why the first stage can feel safe. They remember details. They ask the right question. They seem to know which part of the story hurt you most. Nothing about that is automatically bad, because real empathy can look the same in the beginning. The difference shows up after trust is created. Emotional reading turns into emotional steering when someone uses what they understand about you to limit what you are allowed to say next. When understanding becomes a tool, the person does not simply know your weak spot. They know when to press it, when to soften their voice, and when to make you feel unreasonable for noticing. Picture a friend who listens beautifully when you are upset. Later, during a disagreement, they bring up the exact fear you shared and frame it as concern. They are not yelling. They are not openly insulting you. They are using emotional accuracy to steer where the conversation is allowed to go. That is the part people miss. Harm does not always announce itself as cruelty. Sometimes it arrives dressed as insight. It sounds like, "I know you get defensive when you feel abandoned. Maybe that is why you are upset right now." The sentence may contain a truth, but it is being used to end the conversation. A familiar relationship or workplace moment makes the pattern easier to see is useful because it brings the pattern out of theory. If you leave every serious conversation feeling smaller, foggier, or more guilty than before, do not just ask whether the other person understands you. Ask what their understanding does to your freedom. Healthy empathy gives you more room to think. It can be uncomfortable, but it usually adds clarity. Manipulative empathy narrows the room. It turns your feelings into evidence against you, then asks you to be grateful that someone noticed them. A narcissist may demand the spotlight. This darker pattern may not need the spotlight right away. It may win influence by becoming the person who seems safest to confess to. That is why the betrayal can feel confusing. You are not only reacting to pressure, you are reacting to pressure from someone who once felt protective. Use this self-check. The self-check is simple. Do they understand you, or do they use what they understand after the conversation? Are you clearer about your next step, or are you rehearsing how to become easier for them to handle? Do you feel invited into truth or trained into compliance? There is also a difference between one bad moment and a pattern. Everyone can say something clumsy. Everyone can misunderstand pain. The warning sign is repetition. The same vulnerability keeps getting reopened. The same conversation keeps ending with your reality on trial. One practical move is to slow the moment down. Ask for the specific behavior, the specific request, and the specific next step. If the person wants repair, specifics help. If they want leverage, specifics often irritate them because clarity removes the fog they were using. You do not need to label the person out loud. In many situations, the better move is quieter. Write down what happened after the conversation. Compare their caring words with their repeated actions. Notice whether your boundaries are respected only when you make them small. The final takeaway is boundary-based. Real care can handle your clarity, and the related shorts show the smaller signs people usually miss should end with protection, not paranoia. The goal is not to assume every emotionally intelligent person is dangerous. The goal is to stop mistaking emotional access for emotional safety. Real care can handle your clarity. Real care does not need your confusion to stay powerful. If someone understands your pain and consistently uses that understanding to make you easier to control, the problem is not your sensitivity. The problem is what they are doing with access. The practical takeaway is simple. Trust patterns more than performances. Watch what happens when you ask a calm question, set a small boundary, or stop over-explaining. The reaction to your clarity often tells you more than the original charm ever did. Another sign is how they respond when you stop explaining. A safe person may feel confused, but they can still respect the pause. A controlling person often treats your pause like disobedience because the conversation was never only about understanding you. Watch what happens when you give a simple answer instead of a long, emotional defense. If they keep pulling for more vulnerability, more guilt, or more confession, that is useful information. They may not want the truth. They may want material. This is why boundaries can feel strangely rude around the wrong person. The boundary is not extreme. It only feels extreme because the old pattern depended on you staying emotionally available on demand. A good question is, can I disagree and still be treated as a full person? If the answer is no, the empathy you are receiving may be conditional. It may only stay warm while you remain easy to steer. There is also a difference between insight and intimacy. Someone can make an accurate observation without earning full access to your private life. Accuracy is not the same as trustworthiness. Being seen is powerful, but being seen by the wrong person can become exposure. If you are already inside this pattern, the goal is not to win a debate about who they are. The goal is to make your next choice clearer. Shorter answers, written follow-ups, slower disclosure, and outside perspective can all help you stop negotiating inside the fog. The reason this matters on a psychology channel is simple. Labels can become entertainment, but patterns can become protection. You do not need a perfect name for someone to notice that your confidence keeps shrinking around them. The final test is consistency. Do their caring words match how they act when you say no? Do they respect the part of you that does not benefit them? Do they still seem kind when they cannot use your vulnerability to guide the outcome? Bring this back to dark empath versus narcissist. The moment you notice the difference without making it bigger than it needs to be. The useful move is to notice the small, repeatable shift. What changed after the interaction? Did you gain a clearer choice, or did you become more anxious about choosing at all? That question matters because manipulation often hides inside aftermath. The conversation may sound normal while it is happening. The cost shows up later when you are replaying every sentence, softening your own memory, and trying to make the confusing part your responsibility. A grounded person can hear a clear question without turning it into a loyalty test. They may disagree, but they do not need to punish the question. That is one of the simplest ways to separate tension from control. You can also ask what the pattern rewards. Does it reward honesty, repair, and clearer boundaries? Or does it reward silence, guessing, over-explaining, and emotional self-abandonment? Patterns become easier to understand when you look at what they train you to do. If the answer is uncomfortable, move slowly. You do not need a dramatic confrontation to start protecting your judgment. Sometimes the first healthy step is just refusing to make a permanent decision while you are confused, rushed, guilty, or emotionally cornered. The final reminder is this. Clarity should make your world more workable. It should help you name the next honest step. If a person, tool, or system keeps giving you intensity without clarity, treat that as a signal to slow down and widen your perspective. If this topic hit home, save this video and watch the related shorts for the smaller signs people usually miss. Subscribe if you want sharper breakdowns of the patterns that hide inside normal conversations.